Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. The youth were going to put on an Easter Sunrise service this year, but due to the COVID-19 virus, we were unable to do so. But what we were going to do is talk about the 7 last words of Jesus on the cross. And so what we've done is a couple of really talented musicians from our high school youth group have put together a couple songs, and then a bunch of the other kids from the youth group have put together the 7 last statements that Jesus made on the cross with scripture and then some reflections from it. So I hope you enjoy.
Letting go of every single dream, I lay each one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering never changes what you see. I've tried to win this war, I confess. My hands are weary, I need your rest. Mighty warrior, king of the fight. No matter what I face, you're by my side. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. Truth is, you know what tomorrow brings. There's not a day ahead you have not seen. So in all things be my life and breath. I want what you want, Lord, and nothing less. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. You are my strength and comfort. You are my steady hand. You are my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. Your ways are always higher. Your plans are always good. There's not a place where I'll go you've not already stood. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. I will trust in you.
Jesus speaks to the Father. Luke 23:34 says, Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.
In the midst of his excruciating suffering, the heart of Jesus was focused on others rather than himself. Here we see the nature of his love, unconditional and divine.
Jesus speaks to the criminal on the cross. Luke 23:43 says, I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise.
One of the criminals who was crucified with Christ had recognized who Jesus was and expressed faith in him as Savior. Here we see God's grace poured out through faith as Jesus assured the dying man of his forgiveness and eternal salvation.
Jesus speaks to Mary and John. John chapter 19, verses 26 through 27. When Jesus saw his mother there, and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, Dear woman, here is your son, and to the disciple, here is your mother.
Jesus, looking down from the cross, was still filled with the concerns of a son for the earthly needs of his mother. None of his brothers were there to care for her, so he gave this task to the Apostle John. Here we clearly see Christ's humanity.
Jesus cries out to the Father. Matthew 27:46. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me?
In the darkest hours of his suffering, Jesus cried out the opening words of Psalm 22. And although much has been suggested regarding the meaning of this phrase, it was quite apparent that agony Christ felt as he expressed separation from God. Here we see the Father turning away from the Son as Jesus bore the full weight of our sin.
Jesus is thirsty. John 19:28 says, Jesus knew that everything was now finished, and to fulfill the scripture he said, I am thirsty.
Jesus refused the initial drink of vinegar, gall, and myrrh offered to alleviate his suffering. But here, several hours later, we see Jesus fulfilling the messianic prophecy found in Psalm 69:21.
It is finished. John 19, verse 30. He said, it is finished.
Jesus knew he was suffering the crucifixion for a purpose. Earlier he said in John chapter 10, verse 18 of his life, No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and the authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. These 3 words were packed with meaning, for what was finished here was not only Christ's early life, not only his suffering and dying, not only the payment for sin and the redemption of the world, but the very reason and purpose he came to this earth was finished. His final act of obedience was complete. The scriptures had been fulfilled.
Jesus' last words, Luke 23:46. Jesus called out with a loud voice, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. When he said this, he breathed his last.
Here, Jesus closes with the words of Psalm 31:5, speaking to the Father. We see Jesus' complete trust in the Father. Jesus entered death the same way he entered and lived every day of his life, offering up his life as the perfect sacrifice, placing himself in God's hands.